Yes, guys, happy Friday. Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. This is FPL Insight. I'm Gianni, the FPL guy, and I'm joined by Dean, the Football Insider. Dean, how are you, mate?
I'm okay, mate. I didn't get those 80 points I was hoping for. So that wasn't great, but I did get a green arrow. Ended up with 60. I just checked it actually. 65 points I ended up with, which was okay, but not great considering how many people had a double game week. I mean, there was things like, Kilman not playing, didn't see that coming. Rudiger not playing the second game. And Bro just continues to not score goals. Killing me, man. Killing me.
I'm glad to hear your arrow was green, very on brand at least. But yeah, some of those doublers just did disappoint a little bit this week, didn't we? It just goes to show, don't always be blinded by the doubles, and the same will no doubt apply this week. Like when you've got doubles for teams like Wolves, for example, who aren't used to playing twice a week, you just don't know the rotation that might occur. We know when Liverpool play twice a week, the player's likely to be rotated because we see it in Europe all the time.
Yeah, totally. What did you end up with anyway, mate? What was your, what was it? I saw the highest score was 214 this week. I presume that was you, the way you were going.
I wish I did see that. I was like, how can you get over I don't think I've ever seen over 200.
214 points someone got.
You need double digits and then some from every player.
Man, that is
crazy. I mean, they must have been on a bench boost as well, or they must have used a chip. But to be honest, I went into this week just wanting to, if I'd have got a small green, I'd have been happy. And I got a big green, knowing I wasn't using a chip. But I got very lucky, mate. Like when your captain gets 52 points and load of other people's captains got 2 or 4, I very nearly captain Breuer. I would have got 4 points. I captained Havertz. I got 52 points. That is completely different. Wow, Mohamed got 130.
That's mad.
That is big. Luke's giving you a bit of stick in the chat already. I'm surprised Dean has turned up tonight. Fergus is saying, first time watching the channel. Love that, Fergus. Well, look, mate, come back because every Monday and every Friday we are here at 7. And it only feels like yesterday we were doing Monday's show, Dean. And a lot has happened since with all those games. Are you a fan of the Thursday night Premier League games? Because it threw me a bit.
I was this week because I had something to look forward to that might save my game week. So it was quite nice in that sense. And I quite did like it, actually. I mean, Thursday night football, people used to make fun of it, didn't they? Because it was Thursday nights, Channel 5 and all that stuff. But those days are long gone and everybody plays football every day these days. But yeah, I quite liked it this week. By the way, I'm just looking at this team, the 214 team. I've gone to it and I mean, they've gambled and it's paid off. But it's 3 Villa players, Cash, Mings and Coutinho. Between those 3 players... Yeah, Coutinho captained this guy. So Cash got 29, Mings got 14, and Coutinho got 46. Oh. So just on those 3 players, he's basically got 80 points.
Yeah, that is mental, isn't it?
Unbelievable. You're right. He did go bench boost. Had 2 Wolves players that each got 9 on the bench. Had Dubravka on the bench. He brought in Reece James. He had Havertz. He just absolutely nailed it. The only one that didn't perform for him was Walker Peters. Everybody else turned up. So that's what we all dream of, isn't it? That is literally you just hope it every week. But well done. Yeah, Fergus, that's unbelievable. 129 is a great score.
Yeah. I reckon, if you're getting double digits on nearly every player, you're going to have a worldly game week. And it goes to show anyone can do it, right? This guy's probably had loads of average game weeks, has that, and you just shoot up your mini league charts. So keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. It can happen to anyone. Alex the Kid, good to see you, mate. He says, evening chaps, 110 on my wild card. Fraser getting some points. Fraser captain, 50 points up to my old team to successful wild card. Yeah, good effort. Fraser's gone a little bit under the radar, actually. He seems to be rediscovering a little bit of that Bournemouth form.
Yeah, he does, definitely. Still feels risky, though, doesn't he? You're just never convinced that Newcastle could have carried on this form, and they have. So anyone that backs them, fair play. But it really was a leap of faith if you were doing that because there obviously was not much form in the bank to prove that anything could continue. So fair play.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm loving that our audience are such FPL enthusiasts like we are. PSB, you're absolutely nailing it to show that you are an FPL Keno, just like we are. You got a 58.43 red arrow, very precise, down from 11k to 17.5k. Look, we're here to help, but you probably don't need much at 17.5k.
You're
That's
way ahead
impressive.
Of me, mate. You're way ahead of me.
He's chasing the green arrows. Good stuff. Okay, well, guys, remember, this is a new channel and we want more people to know about it. And it's brilliant to interact with you in the chat tonight. So continue to get your questions in. We're trying to get to 700 subscribers. So please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Obviously, give us a like, goes without saying, I hope. We're here for the next 40 minutes. We've got some cool features. My team reveal is going to come up towards the end of the show in about 20 minutes. But first, we're going to have a little look at Fresh Off the Press. Fresh Off the Press. Here we go. This is where Dean takes us through some of the stories from the week. Really, we're looking at a few big name players today, and some of these maybe are already in your team. Some you might be looking to get in, but there's been a few injuries which have sort of thrown a spanner in the works to people's plans. Dean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you brought in Reece James, mate, and initially paid off brilliantly, but then obviously didn't play in that second match. I mean, how did you feel about that?
I think I'm going to have to sell him now. Like, yeah. I really don't want to, because he might only be out for a week or two. But knowing he doesn't play in game week 30 anyway, I could sell him and have someone that plays 3 times before he makes game week 31, if he's even fit for game week 31, which is Brentford. And around that, they're probably going to have 2 Champions League games, around 31 and 32, if they qualify and beat Lille, which we expect them to do. So knowing he had just come back from another injury, I don't know if he'll be playing all those minutes. So for me, I'm just going to have to sell. But no doubt, I'll be buying Reece James again. Like, we saw what he can do. He'll be on all of our watch lists very soon. But I just need the short-term fix, I think.
That's it. Yeah, obviously they just put too many minutes through Reece James' legs early on, it sounds like. Obviously now Chelsea have to come up with a fix for that. But yeah, big blow for a lot of people, because if he jumps on Reece James, it looks like a fantastic get. It still was at the end. You know, you would have got good points out of him. More better than you would have got for almost any other defender in this game week out of one game. So that's absolutely fine. There's a question there about switching him to Robbo or to Doherty. What do you reckon there?
Ooh, I've got thoughts on that. PSB, you're going to find out my thoughts on both those players in the next 15 minutes coming up. And knowing I'm selling, I'll be, stay tuned for that one. See where I'm going.
Yeah. Interesting. Over at West Ham, Jared Bowen obviously suffering issues. I'm told that to expect him back for the next leg of the Sevilla game. Yeah, that's what they were targeting. So obviously Declan Rice came back into the team, but Jared Bowen needs a little more time, but not too long. So if you got him, you've got a decision to make there whether to wait or not.
That's positive for those that are looking at game week 30, that blank, because West Ham actually have a game.
Yeah. So it sounds like someone I checked it out with yesterday said Bowen should be back. So that's a positive update in that sense. Big one, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
now
what's going on?
The headline team news is that he's going to be back
for
this Spurs game. Like that's the headline news coming out of the presser of Ralph Rangnick in terms of the team news for United. I'm going to this game, and I hope I do see Ronaldo. Like I do want Ronaldo to play, and I think there's going to be just extra pressure around him, you know. And I kind of like it when that's the case with Ronaldo. I feel like you want a Ronaldo that's got something to prove, a bit of fire inside him, wanting to prove a point.
Yeah.
And he really does need to prove a point at the moment. There's a lot of people doubting him. A lot of United fans think they'll be better off without him. Even the match-going fans who are usually pretty loyal to team selections and to club legends, they all think they'll probably be better off with Ronaldo at this stage. Now, Cavani also looks like he's going to be in the frame again. No, Cavani seems a bit flaky to me.
Yeah.
On the pitch, he seems like an absolute warrior, but off it seems like he just picks and chooses when he wants to play football.
Yeah.
Very, very bizarre. And Rafael Varane too, causing people headaches. So I'll go through Man United's likely lineup later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. But I'll be honest with you, it's a headache because you've got no idea who's going to declare themselves available in the day these days.
Who fancies it? It's funny with Cavani because you're right. On the pitch, he looks like a warrior, but off it, he swerves games. Yet every time there's an international break, he is guaranteed to start both games for Uruguay. He's always fit for those games. We've seen that before with some players. And who's paying his wages? United, but still, he's flaky at the best of times. Let's check out Spurs as well, because I'm looking at Spurs' defence, and looking back at a question we recently had about Doherty, and thinking their fullbacks are definitely on my radar. We've just this week seen that Sessegnon is likely to be out until after the international break, so Reguilon comes back into the thinking. But Emerson has just been so poor, and since Doherty's come back into the team the last couple of weeks, I think he's got something like 4 attacking returns in 2 games. He's looking brilliant. He's 4.7 million. Reguilon's just over 5. But knowing the fixtures that Spurs have got, I'm expecting more attacking returns because Spurs seem to play a bit like Chelsea. It's almost like a front 5, back 5. And obviously in the front 5 are your 2 wing backs. So they're just not defenders. They're simply not defenders. I'm not expecting clean sheets for Spurs, but I'm expecting lots of goals because I think United and Brighton are 2 games that will really suit Conte. We've seen Spurs struggle against the low blocks. We've seen them do really well against teams that actually have a go and press. And Brighton and United should do that.
Yeah, they will. You're right. I mean, Reguilon's been waiting for his chance, obviously, and Sessegnon had picked up a bit of form that kept him out of the team longer than expected. But he came in and made an impact, didn't he? So he'll be desperate to prove that he gets to keep that shirt. Luke says he's guaranteed to play. He absolutely is. Luke also says Doherty has to start tomorrow night. Emerson may play potentially a bit better defensively. Yeah, it's a tough call, that one for Conte. I guess they'll be up against Jadon Sancho, wouldn't they? So basically United's informed player, the guy that is the only one playing in that front line. Alanga too, but Sancho's that different class of quality. So yeah, big decision there. Mohammed says United are a shambles. They might get reminded of what they missed out on with Conte. That's absolutely fair point. Yeah, Conte has got a point to prove here. Man that many thought would be the next United boss. They didn't go with it. Spurs nipped in, got him. Rangnick needs to really pull out a performance tomorrow if United are going to start making waves. And look, it's a big game for top 4, isn't it? If United don't win this one, you can almost start to cast them aside and say it's going to be a battle for North London for who gets it.
It's going to be such a good game. I'm so jealous of you going to the game, mate. Are you going like purely for like social, or is it a bit of work in there as well?
Yeah, my man.
You're not a closet United fan.
My dad's a Man United fan. Yeah, my dad's a Man United fan. So we've got us tickets for the game. Yeah, so we're both going out. We'll be on the train tomorrow morning and have a good day of it. Yeah, with him. So it'll be fun. Yeah, enjoy it. I look forward to that.
Yeah, when you go to live games, I always feel like if you've got FPL investment in that game, you're more tempted to be like, and we'll see Dean's team shortly to see if he's got any players in the game. But I'm always like, I'm going to a game. Maybe I do want to captain that player because I can really celebrate it properly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Praveen in the chat saying, do we have any info about the COVID situation at Liverpool? Great point, Praveen. We haven't touched on it yet, but obviously there are rumours, and there were 3 players that weren't photographed in training yesterday. And one of them was Van Dijk. One of them, I think, was Thiago. Can't remember the other, but it wasn't anyone that we've perhaps all got in FPL like a Salah. He was pictured training, but we just don't know, do we? I think they've been quite quiet.
We don't, yeah. And I mean, in likely lineups on this show, we do usually touch on Liverpool. To be honest, I've steered clear of it because when there's a COVID outbreak, teams aren't going to reveal the depth of it, and they're not going to tell you all the players that are going to be missing. And so it becomes a guessing game. So this week on the likely lineups, we won't include Liverpool because there's just a lot of hearsay right now. But it'll be fascinating to see, and come obviously at a really bad time for them too because they want to be breathing down Man City's necks.
Yeah, exactly that. Talk me out of getting Robertson, says I. Okay, that's an interesting question. Right, so in about 5 minutes' time, we've got a feature called Against the Obvious. Now, maybe or maybe not, one of us might be talking about a Robertson. So stay tuned for that. Guys, do give us a like and subscribe. Loving that 26 of you are currently watching. Thank you for 28 now are joining us on Friday night. Every Friday at 7, whether there's a game or not, we're here doing this show. It's about 45 minutes long. Team reveals are going to be coming up very shortly. The first time I'd have shown my team to anyone, and I've done quite a bit to it. So do like, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel as well. But one of my favorite parts of this show, and what I find certainly most useful about it, is Pep Roulette. Definitely my favorite part, because I'm often like, I spend a lot of time studying 11s, and I like to hear from you, Dean, to go, yeah, you've absolutely nailed it, and my thought process is right, or make me question myself and then perhaps rethink my FPL strategy because of it. So what have you got for us this week?
Yeah, I say interesting. So I had to steer clear of Liverpool first week. I think I got Liverpool bang on last week, so that's a shame. I couldn't go on at that one again.
You did get 11 out of 11, mate.
I got 11
and you
on
got
Liverpool.
30 out of 33 out of the three big teams you did, which, considering you're doing teams like the big three that have rotation, 30 out of 33 is impressive.
Yeah, it's tough. I'll tell you what, every week, when you're looking at lineups, they throw up new problems every single week. But we'll get stuck into them and see how I get on this time around. We're going to be doing Chelsea, Man United, and Man City. There's the Chelsea team now scrolling along the bottom. So we've got Mendy, Azpilicueta, and Alonso as the wing backs, and then Rudiger, Silva, and Chalobah as the three centre backs. I think that's pretty safe. I mean, Alonso, I guess, we'll see. He'd obviously, last time I had Alonso in the team, didn't play. So Kante and Kovacic as the middle two, and then Werner and Mount behind Havertz. I mean, at this stage, you can't be putting Lukaku in the team. I was amazed at how many people went captain Lukaku in the last game week. I couldn't believe it. Like, I know, like, you think about it logically, like Burnley and Norwich, Lukaku, yeah, of course he's going to score. You think, why? He's probably not going to play. Like, we had that discussion here, and like, I obviously put him in the team last week because someone said to me, like, this is it really. If he's not starting here, he's got no future at the club, has he? And it was someone like pretty close to the setup, and I was like, oh, it seems like he's giving me a hint here. I'm just going to throw him in the team. But you were very pessimistic about the idea, and rightly so. And yeah, Havertz, he's just brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And it looks like, Mount, Werner, good foils for him, I think. There's a few options there, aren't there? But it seems like for a game like this, might fit.
That front three has worked fairly well last season. Like, we forget that front three won a Champions League final, like, against Man City. So we know it can work. Werner's an interesting one. When you play alongside him, I think you probably massively benefit. We often don't see players work off the ball. We just notice the goals and the assists. And Werner does a lot of brilliant runs to create space for others. And Havertz and him seem to have a decent partnership. But Havertz and Mount have a fantastic partnership. And that 11 I'm looking at, yeah, the only one you question is Silva, because he's played the last two or three, but he's kind of needed, and he didn't have to work much against Norwich, so I'm guessing he's fresh. And I'd like to see Ziyech back in, as FPL River says, but we just don't know about his fitness yet. Pulisic was out as well. Sal could play left wing backs as Mohamed. Yeah, he did in the last couple, but Alonso, if he's fit, he will come back in, I have no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Pulisic obviously felt sick, and the update is that he's had a rest and it improved, and it looks like he could come back into the frame for this. Whether he starts, we'll have to wait and see. Azpilicueta wasn't feeling well either. Yeah. He had stomach problems, and he said he was looking pale, so we had to take him out. But the game's on Sunday, so he should have enough time to recover from that. Like, usually those things are gone within 48 hours. So we presume they will be okay. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the hardest one to nail this week, which is United for me, because of all the question marks over players. Man. Even the fullbacks, what's happened to Dalot? Like,
that's the thing. I didn't want to put Wan-Bissaka in this team, but where's Dalot gone? Why is he gone?
Yeah, he's playing really well.
And Wan-Bissaka, I don't think could be trusted in this fixture. I personally wouldn't pick him. I just got a feeling Rangnick will.
Against Son as well.
Yeah, to be honest, that United back line, I guess I make educated guesses sometimes. This is an educated guess because nobody seems to have any idea about what combination is going to line up here. Some people think Maguire should be left out. I think Maguire will play. Varane should be back in the fold for this. And Luke Shaw's not available, so it's probably the most nailed on thing is Telles surely comes in. McTominay doesn't look like he's available, so looks like it'll be Fred and Pogba. So that makes up my mind on that. I mean, I guess further forward, Sancho, Bruno, Elanga, Ronaldo. It's got to be, hasn't it?
I think so. You think Rashford hasn't done enough to get a start. Elanga's played quite well when he's been given opportunity. Sancho's arguably their informed player. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
there is an
intrigued
argument
about
for starting
Ronaldo.
Rashford. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for starting Rashford and leaving Elanga out. And you say, right, give Rashford his chance. He's obviously frustrated and for not starting the last game. But if he didn't start him for that game, why would he now start him for this game? He's not any more in form. He's not any higher in terms of morale. So I don't get any logic behind that. And I just think if Ronaldo's there, Ronaldo plays. It's a massive game for Man United. If they were to leave him out for this game and he's actually fit, we'll be seeing a tantrum because he won't have it. There's absolutely no way we can see that. But yeah, we'll have to see what combination. Obviously, the other thing thrown up there is Pogba being subbed off against City. United don't have options in midfield, do they? They just don't have options. You do Matic and Fred, like horrible thought, but this is the mess you find yourselves in when you start making luxury signings instead of filling holes you actually needed filled in the transfer window.
Exactly that. It was luxury signing after luxury signing, and the changes in management. It's if ever a club needed a sort of box to box midfielder, for me it's United. And they have done for so long. Taz is saying this.
I think that lineup was the hardest one I've had to guess so far.
Yeah,
I genuinely do. Like even speaking to people around that, I spoke to someone who's in the presser and he's like, I don't know, mate. He said an educated guess. Here you go. He said, but I don't know. I can't even tell who's available for the game like completely. So really tough one.
You'll do well, I reckon. If you get 9 or 10 out of there, big pat on the back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what? From an FPL point of view, I'm not sure how many people even have United players in their teams right now. Like, let me know if any of you guys have got any of these United players in. Like, maybe you're going for Sancho or something right now. Maybe you got. I've got De Gea, I guess, but the other players out on pitch, I don't see why you'd have them.
Yeah. Guys, I'm loving all your when you talk United, you always engage a chat. Like they're just everyone likes to talk United, and as someone that dislikes the football club, I can still talk United all day long, and it's one of my topics of choice. So good to see all you guys in the chat getting involved. And if we can't get to all your questions, apologies. We'll get to as many as we can, certainly later in the show. But we've got one more team, but before we play it, I just want to show you guys our title sequence. And look, if you like the title sequence for this, then do give us a like, right? There's a deal. And coming out of it, Dean's going to be taking a look at Man City. So Pep's shaped head is like the perfect zero. It's just, you never want to land on a zero when you're playing roulette. No one covers zero. I certainly don't.
Absolutely not.
So Man City, Diaz is injured, so it makes the defence a little bit easier, I guess. And Cancelo, we just don't know about. It's a Monday night game, is it?
That's the thing. I think that's the factor here that I was told. Like Cancelo will be all right by Monday. Like everybody expects that he'll be okay because this game is not actually on the weekend; it's on Monday. So he's got until Monday night to recover. They think that Cancelo will be okay. So yeah, there's your lineup. Typical defence really for what's available right now, and then. Look, City haven't got many players available. Pep's been talking about it. The fact that they've had to bring in a lot of youth players this week to join in training just to fill up the numbers. No Scott Carson. I've been very harsh on him there, haven't I, leaving him out of the lineup. Ultimately, I was reading about how they were in training and how Jack Grealish was acting like one of the more senior players in the training session because there were so many young kids involved in the session, just trying to ensure they could go ahead with their normal preparation. So there really doesn't seem to be that much choice. That's part of the reason I've got Grealish in. Obviously did really well in the Manchester derby. That was the one I think I got wrong in the lineup last week. I didn't believe that Grealish would be picked for a fixture like that, and I was absolutely wrong. Pep put his faith in him, and he completely repaid him. And it might actually be a really good platform for him in his season. It might be the moment he needed to really take off at Man City. Because I think a few people, City fans included, have been a little sceptical as to how and if he's actually going to fit into that team. Is there any changes you would make there, mate?
No, like Sterling's the obvious one, but for me, I'm with you. Sterling hasn't done enough, and Pep goes through these stages with Sterling, as he does with most of his front three players, where he just has flavour of the month. And at the moment, Sterling's kind of on the edges, isn't he? So Grealish has played his way in after that Manchester derby. That's probably the best game he's had certainly the best of the big games he's had in a City shirt. FPL River saying don't understand it on mass people selling Cancelo. Luke had just previously told us that he still has him. Look, guys, I'm with you. I also have Cancelo. And Nuclear Atoms in the chat saying he kept Cancelo on wildcard. It's going to be pretty hard to bring him back, though. That's the problem. Those that have sold Cancelo, most of them paid like 6 million for him, and he's now 7 million. So, can you afford to bring him back?
Well,
I've kept the faith, though.
Yeah,
the faith.
I guess people will be worried that if he doesn't play in this one, well, he's not playing the week after either, because I think they must blank the week after,
they blank.
don't they? So it is a bit of a gamble if he doesn't play, and you're just hoping that there is the Monday night factor is the one thing that gives you hope. I think if this game was tomorrow, I'd be encouraging you to take him out. It wouldn't be worth the risk, but 48 hours can make a massive difference. And Cancelo is that difference maker, isn't he? So I'm not sure they got many options otherwise.
If City had the league wrapped up, I'd be looking to sell Cancelo because I think either is he going to be rotated, so the Champions League is more important. But at the moment, the way Liverpool are playing too, the way Liverpool are getting points too, you just think the title race is going to go fairly late on, and both Liverpool and City won't be rotating in the Premier League. But guys, let us know in the chat who is going to win the league. Like, just give us a name. I mean, City are clearly the favourite team. Can you see an upset? I mean, some bookies paid out on City months ago.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like they were unstoppable, didn't it? And they haven't really hit a bad run of form. Like, they're not out of form. It's just they hit a tiny blip. And Liverpool have been so consistent. They've managed to, get right up their backsides now. And obviously, they've got a big fixture against each other to come. I just think that, once we get to April, this is the time when we're really going to be deciding which way this title race is going. It's going to be nervy, right? It's going to be really, really nervy to see us who can really hold out. And I'm just checking my fixture list here to see what date that game is. Saturday, April the 9th, Man City v Liverpool. So we're not that far away from it now. But Liverpool, they just need to make sure that they're not dropping points before then. I tell you what, this could be going right down to the wire. I do think that City could hold them off though, like they did last time, and a couple of years ago when they went neck and neck. So yeah, very interesting. But obviously Liverpool know how to win a league since then.
Yeah, exactly that. They've got those players that have been there, done it, which in the past you couldn't say. Mohamed saying Chelsea are going to win the league and then go into administration. Or do you know what? We've only got about 15 minutes left of the show. I don't think we've got enough time to go into Chelsea. Maybe we'll save that chat for Monday. Not that I'm trying to swerve it or anything, right? Luke saying Liverpool were going to win the title. Most have gone City, so that's an interesting take, Luke. But fair. FPL River saying Liverpool pushed them all the way, but City for him. Another title decided by goal differences, Taz. I mean, in Italy, they don't do that. They do the head-to-head, which I think is fairer. I don't like winning a league on goal difference. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right for me.
No, it's so rare. I mean, even the goal difference right now, Man City's goal difference is 50, Liverpool's is 51. So it might even be that they're split on that anyway. And it might, I presume, to go to goals for or head-to-head after that. I'm not entirely sure, but that will become the headline soon. If once these two teams are neck and neck, we'll be trying to split them, and it'll come down to little moments like that.
Yeah, exactly that. Good stuff, guys. Right, I've been very keen to show you our teams. So I think coming up next, we are going to have a look at our teams in what is our team reveals. Here we go. I think we got your team up first.
Why mine first? What? Nobody wants to see my team. That's it. Blanket. Get it off. It's actually not too bad this week. It's all right. We're looking okay. It's just that Brozier guy that's still hanging around. Got Watford at home. Come on, mate.
If ever there was a fixture you want to target,
not scoring against Watford, he is gone forever. He is never getting in my. Even if he's back at Chelsea next season and starts in the team up front, he's not getting back in my team. This is his last chance for him. I'll text him and let him know. But yeah, obviously, there's a fair few doubles in here, which I've brought in Saka. So that was my change to this lineup and brought Jota in off the bench. Calvert-Lewin up off the bench as well. Calvert-Lewin I will be speaking about a little bit more detail in a minute. But on paper, Everton have got two good fixtures there at home, two fixtures they desperately need. But yeah, there's a fair few double game weeks there. So I'm reasonably happy with it.
Yeah. Would you be tempted, knowing next week in game week 30, you don't have both Foster and De Gea won't play, so you won't have a keeper.
I
You
think
could
I've
take
got
a
about 5
hit.
players next week.
You could take a hit this week for a keeper. So you could take a hit for Ramsdale or Lloris that played twice and obviously playing 30. So you get 3 games out of them.
That is probably the decision I need to make right now, because I was counting up this. Last week when we were talking about, I came out and I was like, I've got to get someone in. I brought Saka in straight away, and I was like, I'm going to need something else, because you've got to take a hit on someone. And you're right, Ramsdale could be the one. I mean, who's his double? Who's he got? Leicester and Liverpool or something like that, is it?
Yeah, it's not the best double,
it's not
but
great, is it? I mean, but he might make saves. So
he is a saves point magnet, Ramsdale. He just seems to clock up the saves, and then he's got Aston Villa in the blank 30, and then he has got good fixtures for the kind of next.
Yeah, so you can stick with him. That is the one thing with Ramsdale. You can definitely stick with him. So yeah, that's tempting for sure. I'll wait for FPL River to let me know what to do, because I've obviously followed that advice last week, and got Rafinha in there, and that really paid off.
Yeah. Oh, Rafinha, what were you doing? Oh, see, we all went there. I went Rafinha instead of Coutinho, which was just a schoolboy error. But Luke says Son's could go mad against United because it suits him so well. Does it worry you not having Spurs? Says Taz, very brave.
Not really. They're so inconsistent, and I'm not sure who I could bring in. Considering who I'd have to take out now at this point to bring in Son. I can't bring in Kane really. I'd have to make too many transfers.
Yeah, and your midfielders are good. You don't want to be selling any of them.
I'd probably be Jota, I guess, or Mount. I couldn't guarantee really that Son was going to score more against him. He's playing Man United away. It's not like he's not playing Watford at home. So no, for me, I mean, it might bite me in the. Not having Tottenham players the week after is the one obviously I'm more concerned about. But yeah, I'll be all right. Yeah,
it was from a comment in the chat last week that actually nudged you towards a transfer. I think it was Luke, and it wasn't. Bowen out, Rafinha in, kind of worked. Bowen got 1 point, Rafinha got 4, so worked a little bit. And now Bowen's out and Rafinha's got Norwich.
Yeah, true. At least I've got a player that's actually going to be playing. He's got Norwich at home, Rafinha. So him and Brozier have got big game week for me here. Potentially they could really change how I do here.
Yeah. Guys, we've got 45 people watching. Thank you for joining us. We want to get to 700 subscribers by the end of the show. And I'm hoping we do, because last week on Monday, I promised I would show you what I had here, which is a really cool print on who is now my favorite FPL player. It's of him, right? There's a hint. He is now, as of last night, my favorite FPL player. So look, if we get to 700 subscribers before the end of the show, I can show you that. So yeah, please do subscribe and of course like the channel. But thanks for all your questions. Keep them coming in. Coming up next, let's have a look at my team. I've spent, as always, far too many hours on it this week. I have made 2 transfers, and I bought in 2 Spurs players. Now, I've sold Reece James, which I didn't want to do. I'd rather have just benched him, but I had to get Doherty in, and I didn't want to sell Cancelo, knowing he does play in on Monday. I think he will play on Monday. And then I've sold Elise with a heavy heart, because he has been so good. And there's those players you pick just to try and look cool because no one else has got them, but they're a good footballer and they will get some FPL points. That was Elise for me. It was no one had him. I wanted everyone to know that I knew he was a baller before they did. And I put him in my team ages ago. And I wanted to just run with him for that reason. But he's got a couple of tough games and he doesn't play in 30. Kulusevski's got the double and does play in 30. He just had to come out. So yeah, what do you think to the well, I mean, we've just spoken about Spurs, but what do you think to my benching dilemma? Because I could have Weghorst in my 11 or I could have Broja in my 11. It's a toss of a coin, because I think Weghorst scores against Brentford, but Broja's got an even better fixture. He's at home to Watford.
Yeah, he's got a better fixture, but you've seen what I've seen, and he doesn't look like he's going to be scoring anytime soon, does he? And Weghorst, he's due a goal too, I guess. Honestly, I think you could probably toss a coin as to which one you pick. Either way, probably it's going to be a 1 goal max return, I'd imagine. But of course, against Brentford away, absolutely fine. So that's a decent bit. I mean, obviously, it's a really good team as always. Salah on the triple captain. You waited for this one, obviously, after not picking him. And the last time when Liverpool had a double game week, what did Salah score in the end? I can't remember exactly what I got for us.
Oh, it was something ridiculous, wasn't it? Was it? I think triple captain's got 76, 78. It was in the 70s. I'm sure it was absolutely.
I got
crazy.
84. I got on Salah. Yeah,
that's
I got
ridiculous.
84 on Salah triple captain a couple of weeks ago. So that's your benchmark, mate. That's what you need him to beat. Brighton away, Arsenal away. What do you think's realistic? What will you be happy with?
I think I'd take an attacking return in each and maybe a bonus point or two. So if I got like 15 points, I'd be very happy with that, because he's not firing on all cylinders. It is the best time to go there, because the other double game weeks, we don't know what fixtures the likes of Kane and Salah and KDB will have. But even if they do have good fixtures, they might be weeks I free hit. I've got two free hit chips to use, so I'm going to want them around the doubles. So I've just got to go Salah. Look, you could try and be smart and go Kane, but not for me just yet with Kane. Like I think those United and Brighton games are more Son games than Kane games for points. So yeah, I'm sticking it with Salah. He always finds a way of just getting scruffy goals or pens.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, by the way, like what you were saying earlier about interesting to see my team, whether I'd gone for a United or Tottenham player, seeing as I'm going to the game, actually goes against. Like if I was going to pick anyone, it would be a Tottenham player this week. And I'm like, I can't really be cheering a Tottenham player when I'm taking my dad to this game. Like, nah, it kind of goes against the whole reason we're going to this one. So I want a Man United win, so I can't be picking Tottenham players to score against them, because I'll be torn. That's what FPL does to us.
Yeah, I completely understand that, to be fair, with the game thing. It's weird about Salah triple captaincy that this has been a week with Premier League fixtures on Thursday and loads of other stuff going on that I've barely spoken about triple captain. Like the week you triple captain in the FPL community on Twitter is usually like, that's your content for a week. I've not once spoken about it. It's really strange. It's completely gone on the radar. I feel like I need to like park it just for the content creation, like later in the season. Yeah. But yeah, we had a point raised a minute ago. It was on the screen about that was it. PSB. He asked a very good question earlier, and I swerved it because I thought we were going to come to something that actually we're very close to coming to. So coming up, I am going to be speaking about answering your question in like 2 minutes time, PSB. But let's have a look at some of the other questions first. Who is the better pick? Pick a Mount or Havertz?
I think it's Mount or Havertz.
Thanks, dude.
I presume so.
Laura, we got you. I'd say Havertz. Would you, Dean? I mean, you own Mount, but if you were on a wild card now, you'd probably be going Havertz.
I'd love Havertz right now. Yeah, I mean, the guy he's so in form. He's so confident. He's Chelsea's new number 9. And for a guy that's playing as Chelsea's number 9, you should really be paying like 11 million, 12 million as a forward. And you're not. 7.8 as a midfielder. Unbelievable. Like, this doesn't happen very often, that you get somebody playing that position in a team like this. So yeah, eat up Havertz if you can.
Knowing Laura is we've not seen her in the chat before, and she's talking about Havertz, I think that is a very good link into me showing you what I've got on my pool table. Because Laura, I've been milking to show this for like the last show and a half. So check this out from the Champions League final. Oh, there we go. Mason Mount with the best assist I've ever seen to Havertz. And I just thought I needed something on my wall that was representative of Chelsea becoming champions of Europe. Sorry, Dean, they're not your favourite club. But
they're not, no. But I have a similar thing on a T-shirt from when Tom Kearney scored in the playoff final for Fulham.
Love that.
Sessegnon played the pass to him. So I understand where you're coming from, mate.
Tom Kearney, we were so excited to see him in FPL because he had such a good season in the Championship the year before. He was like a 5 million midfielder, loads went there, and he was so disappointing. But he's a player. He's a player.
He's a great player, but you won't be signing him next season either because he won't.
I'm looking for if Fulham get to the Premier League next season, which of course I'm really hopeful and positive they will. I'm very excited to have the chat with you pre-season about Fulham targets, because getting the insight on Championship players is always so important for your summer season scouting.
Yeah, there'll be a few as well to watch out for sure.
Definitely at Fulham, yeah, definitely. Is Rafinha's head gone since he knows he will get a transfer in the summer? I mean, he looked really good in the first game, And then last night, he was anonymous. He was sulking from minute one, I thought. Has his head gone, Dean?
I mean, this might just be how he is. I mean, Bielsa left him out, didn't he? And maybe there was a reason before that we weren't aware of. I mean, there was a chance it was tactical and that people had found out leads, and Bielsa was worried that he was actually limiting their play. But it might also be that he's got an ego problem. I think it should actually motivate Rafinha to play better, to be honest. I think he's got the opportunity to make such a good transfer this summer. But you have to end the season well. Obviously, clubs will still be in for him, but it might not be Bayern Munich that he ends up at, which is probably where he wants to end up, unless he does find that form again. So I think he's got motivation to actually score a few goals between now and the end of the season.
He was pretty distressed when Firpo went down injured. I think that's one. It's probably his good mate, fellow Brazilian at Leeds, seeing him in a bad way. You couldn't have helped. But that was obviously at the end of the game. Johnny's asked about Wolves' assets on a wild card. It's a tough one, Johnny, because Wolves' assets have disappointed in the last month until last night. And 4 goals isn't something we've seen from Wolves, I don't think, at all this season in the Premier League. But I would still be veering away. I think I'd want to see some more consistency. I think there's better options. They don't double this week. Yeah, they play in the blank, but they're a little bit meh for me. They're outside the top 4 race. I don't see them challenging for that now, as we thought perhaps they were a few weeks ago. I'd swerve them all, I think. Is there anyone you would, Dean, go for?
No, Kilman was the one that I told everyone to get. He's got 3 points in 3 game weeks, I think. So, no, I mean, I don't know. Neto. There's a couple of that you could try, I guess, as differentials like Neto or Podence or Jimenez. They do a return every now and then, and it's just you don't know when it's going to happen. So I'd steer clear.
Yeah. Good to see Laura in the chat, by the way, who was and PSB, two newbies we've not seen before on the channel. Guys, rather than me promote when you can watch this show, can one of our regulars, Luke, I'm looking at you, Nuclear Atoms, I'm looking at you, Mohammed, I'm looking at you. Can one of you regulars in the chat just say when this show is on? I'm just testing your knowledge here. It's every X and Y. So let us know when you can see the show. PSB says Martinelli or Odegaard to outscore Kulusevski. They've all got double game weeks, these guys. It's Arsenal and Spurs is where the love is going for transfers, and rightly so. Saka's the go-to at Arsenal, and again, rightly so. But if you can't afford Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard are options. Similar price point to Kulusevski. Who would you go out of those 3? I think I would still gamble on Kulusevski, but
I think so. Yeah, I'd say that Leicester and Liverpool is tougher than Man United, Brighton. So I go Kulusevski still. I think there's far more chance of him having joy in those 2 games. Yeah, go Kulusevski.
FPL River, Mohammed, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Guys, let's move on to the final little segment of the show, Against the Obvious. This is a tough one because every week we pick a popular player each and we tell you why not to pick them, right? Last week, we told you why not to captain Mo Salah, and fortunately it came in. Now, sometimes these will work, sometimes they won't. We'll probably veer away from players we own at times because, they're not in our teams, hence we're telling you not to buy them. But the guy I'm focusing on this week, and I'm telling you not to sell Reece James for him. I'm telling you not to buy him, and that is Andy Robertson. Now, I know Andy Robertson has been brilliant of late. Andy Robertson, sorry. He's 7.9% owned. So he comes across as a little bit of a differential. He's 7.2, a little bit cheaper than Trent. He's attacking for fun. But Liverpool with the COVID outbreak, we just don't know, do we? So I'm veering away. And also I'm looking at the fixtures and going, okay, yeah, sure, Liverpool have a double game week. And we get very excited about Liverpool in double game weeks. But they're playing 2 teams with some decent attacks. Like Brighton can turn it on. And Arsenal, I see Arsenal scoring in that football match. So when you buy defenders and you can't guarantee clean sheets and you're relying on attacking returns, I don't think those defenders are going to be worth 7 million-ish, which is what you have to spend for Robbo. So for me, if you're selling Reece James, you look at Spurs defence, you go Doherty, 4.7, Yeah, maybe not as likely to keep a clean sheet, but just as likely to get an attacking return and so much less money. Sure, if Doherty or Reguilon weren't in the game, maybe you look at Robbo, but they are in the game. So for those of you buying Robertson, do not go there. You already own Trent. You already own Salah. Double Liverpool is enough. So go Doherty instead. What do you reckon, Dean?
Yeah,
fair analysis there?
I think it's very fair points you make. I mean, people will still go, some people will just have a hunch that they want him. And, you can still pick him on that. But I think there's enough basis there for people to seriously consider not picking him. And like you say, when you've got a good alternative option like Doherty, looking at Spurs fixtures, like it really is a good reason to look away from Liverpool on this occasion. There aren't many occasions I think you would suggest that people don't pick Andy Robertson. Am I right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You haven't said that lightly.
Exactly that. Nuclear says he agrees with me. Too much money for a defender as tricky fixtures. No fixture in game week 30 either. And FPL Rivers made a good point. Don't sell Reece. Like, he's not out long term. And that's a fair point. Like, looking at my team with a very heavy heart, is Reece is out the door. And that's purely because I couldn't sell one of my cheaper defenders to accommodate Kulusevski. It was an upgrade on Elise. But if you don't need to sell Reece, don't do it. He might be back for game week 31. Who's, by the way, he's playing Brentford. We've seen what he can do when he's been out for a while. He can still come on and hit the ground running. So Panita said, how about getting a Spurs defender? If yes, then who? Look, it's for me, it's Doherty all day long. If not, you could gamble on Reguilon. But as soon as Sessing on is fit, there'll be rotation. Like, don't get me wrong, Doherty isn't nailed, but Doherty needs to play poorly for him to be dropped. And if that happens, sure you get him out and Emerson comes in. But for the time being, I'd go Doherty.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Praveen's asked about looking at Rob as a third pool attacker, knowing Jota, Diaz, that like they'll keep sharing minutes. Yeah, maybe. I think Diaz could be good value for 2 starts this game week. He missed the Champions League game. Yeah, I think the upside is bigger with Diaz and Jota at the moment. I really do. Like Robertson, he's not got the set piece threat that, say, Trent has. Is a very expensive slot in your back line. I wouldn't look at third Liverpool, but if I was, I'd probably go Diaz over Robbo.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I've got Jota, so that's my third Liverpool player, but we shall see. Right, I actually am from across the other side of the Mersey, the blue half, Everton. And I want to talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, obviously not a player in form, but definitely a player that people will be considering as a differential in this game week. Everton have home fixtures against Wolves and Newcastle. And traditionally, like, you should be all over this because Calvert-Lewin, you'd be thinking goals. He will eat this up. He's selected by 3.2%. His price is 7.7 million. And, there are reasons to have him. I have him. I actually have him. But if I didn't have him right now, I wouldn't be picking him. Look, he missed 5 months of the season with injury. Everton failing to score recently. And look, Calvert-Lewin he's just not looking like he's going to score. Last season, he scored 21 goals and 16 of them were in the league. I think only Harry Kane was outscoring him in the league, particularly from open play. This season started well, 3-3. I was like, oh, okay, we can't ignore Calvert-Lewin this season. He means business. Then injury struck. Since then, he's started 6 league games and he has not scored for Everton. So look, Everton are in a mess. They need somebody to step forward. There are just no signs at the moment that it's actually going to be Calvert-Lewin that does this. Now, it's not even the fact that he's just not scoring goals. I checked this out and I read an article on it. I think it was in the Liverpool Echo, and it said that, look, Calvert-Lewin is actually averaging a similar number of penalty box touches per 90 now as he was last season. So when he's scoring all those goals for Everton, he was getting the same quality of chances and number of chances as he is now. And I guess, look, obviously confidence is going to be different right now, but also you just wonder about his efficiency in front of goal right now. It's dropped off big time. Coming back from an injury, it's obviously difficult. Coming back halfway through a season in which Everton are suddenly rubbish, that doesn't help either. I really, really hope, for my sake and for Calvert-Lewin's sake, that he does start scoring soon and that this is a platform for him to score in back-to-back games, as I say, against Wolves and Newcastle at home. Frank Lampard needs him to show up. There's just not much evidence that he actually will.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. Like it's the form versus fixture debate with DCL, isn't it? Like the form isn't there at all, but my God, the fixtures are. If ever we can back Everton to turn up, it's under Frank at Goodison Park, and he's got 2 home games. They have to win at least one of those games, though.
Yeah.
They really do, and the pressure will be there. You can see it being tight and see it being scrappy. Ancelotti was referring to DCL as his Inzaghi only 12 months ago. Like how times have changed on that one.
Absolutely.
But, yeah,
look,
I'm
he's playing
intrigued.
for his future as well. Like whether it's with Everton or whether it's a transfer, he's being linked with Arsenal, he's being linked with Newcastle. There'll be other clubs looking at him too. I think West Ham will link with him. But as Ali Mack says there, Gordon is the only Everton asset worth looking at. And he's right. Like if you are bringing anyone in, there's no doubt Gordon is the best player in this team at the moment. He's cheap. He's great. He's getting good points scoring. He is. So if you were to bring anyone in from Everton now, then it would be Gordon. But sadly, I already have DCL, so I'm putting some faith in him, and he's made the starting lineup.
Guys, we're going to do some quick fire questions. Get them in. We're going to spend 10 seconds answering as many as we can between now and the next couple of minutes. If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching. It's been awesome seeing so many new faces or new names on our Friday night show. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Denver is asking the best single game week mid under 9 million single game week. You don't fancy an Arsenal or a Spurs player? I guess I'd go Havertz. He's 7.5-ish.
Yeah, it's got to be Havertz if you're taking that route. Then yeah.
so niche.
I've never had anyone look for that, but okay.
Praveen is saying, would you bench boost with Dubravka, Joelinton, Breuer, and Holgate? Holgate's got a double, so has Dubravka. Joelinton also has a double. Breuer, yeah, I probably would bench boost that, Praveen. Breuer, we're not sure how fit Breuer is. He did come off injured last night. There hasn't been a press conference today. So it could be a gamble with Breuer. Like that's probably why I've benched him over Weghorst, because I'm worried about the injury.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a hard one there. What about Hwang, Dean? Nuclear's asking, would you have any interest there? He got the assist last night. He's very cheap. He's just a little bit more than Breuer. He's like 5.5 mil.
Yeah, he is cheap. I think that's the only reason. Obviously, depends how else your team is looking. But if that's the kind of money you got left, then I think he's a decent option. I don't think you'll be putting like loads of faith in him. I think you're looking at him hope more than expectation. But yeah, certainly a good option.
Yeah. Mohammed's saying, is it worth taking a -8 to make a strong bench boost? Yeah, if you're bringing in doublers on your bench. The -8s I'm always wary of. It's weird because 4s you're happy to take and 8s I'm a bit like, ooh. But if they're for doublers and you're getting those 2 appearance points straight away on top of your other player, then you kind of see it as a 2.
Mohamed just had that. Didn't Mohamed just have a super week? Didn't he say at the start he got 100 and something points last week? So maybe
yourself.
maybe he's treating himself to some transfers.
I do that after a good week sometimes, or if it's my birthday. Desara said triple up on Spurs. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That I've got Doherty, I've got Kulin, I've got Kane. Why not Desara? Because they play in 30.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like that game week that's coming up next week. I don't know what the average is going to be of how many people have play in the week after. I mean, I've said at the start, at the moment, I think I've got 5. I need to improve that. So I'm probably not getting more than 6, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see that game week, like what we're actually looking at. It's like a 6-a-side tournament or something.
Yeah. Someone in the chat, I think it was FPL River, said, how many players would you be happy to play with in that game week 30 to not free hit? But I don't think it's the upside's there for a free hit. The way the fixtures have fallen, there's no really easy teams to predict.
No.
As long as you've got Spurs covered, I think, and Arsenal covered, you'll be all right. I mean, Leicester play Brentford, which could have some upside, and we don't have Leicester players in our teams really. But even then, I don't, without Vardy, I don't think I'd want that. So if I've got 7 or 8 players, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, honestly, I think 7's probably enough from that, and it's just not worth the free hit. There's going to be a few coming up where you're going to want a free hit, like towards the end of the season, like you say, there's going to be those everyone on a double game week, and if you can make sure that you got all the players you want for those weeks, that's when you'll pick up the points. You might end up free hitting and just barely scoring still, because it's such an unpredictable few fixtures that we've got.
Yeah. Last question in from Luke. And guys, please do give us a like. Loads of you are watching. Thank you. Let us get to, I don't know, let's get to 40 likes before we end if we can. Tony in for game week 30 is an interesting one. He did just score a hat-trick. 2 of them were pens and he was playing Norwich, but we will be putting together an 11 for that game week 30. So if you are on a free hit or you're looking at who to play for 30, if you tune in on Monday's show, you'll see my 11 for that game week. If I was on a free hit, what would I be doing? I'm going to put together that squad. I don't know if Tony's going to be in it though, Dean. I don't think he will.
I think he's peaked, hasn't he? I think that is peak Tony. That's him done for the season. The only thing I would say is that because they've now got Christian Eriksen, there will be better delivery. There is a better chance of good, high quality chance creation for him in the areas that he likes. He would have worked with him now for a little while too in training. He is by far the most dangerous asset that they've got. So there is that to consider.
Thank you, guys, all the newbies in the chat tonight. Praveen, Fergus, I'm going to miss loads of you. Rahul, good to see Denver. So many of you in the chat that haven't perhaps watched this channel before. You can catch us every Monday and every Friday at 7 p.m. Good luck this game week. Remember, don't forget the deadline tomorrow morning. It's a Saturday deadline. Don't be worried about 4-point hits if you need to take them on Arsenal or Spurs players because they play in 30, because they double in 29. But for now, guys, I've been Gianni, he's been Dean, and we've been Chasing Green Arrows.